Hi, my name is Alexis Barbian. I'm doing a film analysis on the movie The Prestige. Now, to go over the plot, the basic plot of The Prestige, it is about two rival magicians who have a grudge against each other and how they go about trying to come up with more elaborate tricks to make names for themselves. Now, there's a lot of interesting information that I thought would be great to talk about in terms of illusion and the concept of reality, what's real, what's not, how do people tell the difference. But when I looked at the thing, it said going over personal identity. So, that is what I'm going to be going over today. And the specific part that I'm going to be going over is the scene near the end. It's the part where Angier gets the machine from Tesla. And this machine can transport you somewhere else, but it also makes a copy of yourself. So, when Angier first uses this machine, which I actually don't know what the name is, but I'm just going to call it the transporter. The first time he uses the transporter, one of him is put across the room from him and the other is in the machine still. And he looks at himself. And then the first thing that he does, at least the Angier in the machine still, he takes up a gun and shoots the other one. Kills him instantly. So basically his idea is that every night of his performance, one of him drops into a tank and dies from drowning, while the other one appears at the other end of the stage perfectly fine, and it makes people wonder how he did it. Now, most people probably think that it's a double and that he's just doing something crazy. I'm sure, because if I hadn't seen what the machine can do on its own, then I'd probably believe the same thing. But what's interesting about this is that he talks about how it takes courage to walk into the transporter because he doesn't know if he'll be the man drowning or if he'll be the Prestige. So, and something that I think is interesting is that technically he's both, in a way. And mind you, this isn't like a philosophical interpretation. This is more just my background with physics and stuff. And what's it called? What's the field called? Well, it's the concept of Schrodinger's cat. If a cat's put in a box, then there's two possibilities. The cat either dies or it doesn't die. What I think is interesting, like, that they actually used a cat, too, and it freaked me out. I was like, yay! But, it's interesting to think, because if he's the man who gets transported, then he was killed immediately. But if he's the man that stays in the transporter, he dies the first show. Or the first time he performs it. So either way, the original man dies, but he's still the same Angier. Now, this is where we have to go into some of the personal identity theories. The first theory is same body theory. And they've got the same body, so it would make sense that they'd have the same, like, personality, same exact makeup. So they'd technically be the same person. Then there's the same soul theory, in which case it is when he's being transported, is he like bringing a new soul with him, or is it the same soul, or how is that all working? To be honest, it's hard to tell because there's so many like flaws with it. And then like there's Locke's theory on personal identity, which is consciousness or consisting consciousness with memory. But the moment that they're duplicated, they're the same guy. Like, at the moment of duplication, they are the same guy. But from that moment on, they are two different men. One man drowns, and the other man lives. So, and something else that I thought was interesting is he killing himself when he does this? Is this murder when he does this? But, of course, that's not the topic of this video. Topic of this video is understanding if he is the same man or not. And from my interpretation of it, I would say that the moment of the split is when he separates and becomes slightly different. Well, in a way, he is consistently living on, whereas part of him dies. In a sense, he makes a copy of himself that dies, but then he moves on. So in a way, yes, he does live on every time, but there's always the idea of, is it really him or not? So it's a little interesting to think about. But yeah, I think I'm running out of time here. But yeah, it's definitely difficult to think about, because no matter what, part of one of him is dying and the other one's not. So I don't really have a solid conclusion for this one. Either way, he ends up dying in the end. So spoiler alert. Hope this video was informative in some way, or at least helpful. So, bye.